Slicing through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture films in the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Stay care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah. Steve out on your YouTube, brother, let's roll.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being American, and YouTube Ronin. And I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Reserved Seats. Yes, tonight we control the horizontal, we control the vertical. I want to first off say hello to everyone currently following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. All right, I want to say hello to a few people who have joined us here in the live chat. First one here, channel member JPRPH1, saying justice for Flappy, indeed. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member The Bird Woman of YouTube, a wide shout for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Cleary. Bringing the Geeky Geezers raid, last call trip Chelly. Geeky Geezers 2, Night of the Living Geezers, indeed. His better half, Netters Network, host of Thursday Things. All right. Well, my guest is waiting patiently backstage, so there's no time like the present to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Geeky Geezers, co-host of Friday Night Last Call, and one of my fellow panelists on Live from Sparkwood and 21, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Flappy Fan Club, Rage Boomer.
Thank you and welcome. Thank you for having me. Oh, wait. My avatar. What did I do here? Hold on. I'll fix that. Hold on. I thought okay, there we go.
It's Flappy. It's okay.
It's fine. Anyway, here I am. Yeah, and today I did want to bring up, I think this came about because I had recently taken advantage of a AMC deal that they had, AMC Plus deal. Now, normally, I know I rag a lot about streaming on my channel, but I've always kind of liked Shudder and AMC Plus. If you get AMC Plus, you get Shudder with it, or you get a good selection of Shudder. Maybe you don't get every single thing on Shudder, but you get a lot of it on AMC Plus, or you could just subscribe to Shudder separately. And they had a deal for a year subscription, $29.99. So I figured, okay, I'll take the plunge again, because I've subscribed to AMC Plus and Shudder in the past, and I've liked it both times I've done it. And I thought now might be a good time for us to talk. We've been planning to talk about Shudder for a while, especially a certain movie on Shudder.
We have.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Shudder is definitely a favorite of mine. One of the reasons being is that they know, who their target audience is. They play to that, and they are also one of the few streaming services that actually releases their content on physical media.
Yes. They've always been about physical media from the start. They will, if you see a movie on there, it will usually come to physical media, and not that long, usually within the year, right? I mean, I think they do that. I remember when Late Night with the Devil, I remember I caught that on Shudder, and then I a few months later was out on Blu-ray, so I picked it up there then too.
Right.
But what's the big movie on Shudder right now? I did watch the Whistle. I don't know if you saw that one.
Not yet.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you.
That's when it's interesting, because there was a movie that's called Whistle that was in theaters, and now it's on Shudder. Daphne Keene, I believe, is in it. And then there's also like a low budget horror movie that is called The Whistler.
Oh, okay.
And I'm wondering if people are like getting the two mixed up. It's kind of like if you watch it's like you want to watch Transformers, but like your grandmother gives you like the Asylum edition of Transmorphers. It's kind of like that, I guess.
Oh, many a playground fight happened when a kid got a GoBot for Christmas, and
Oh yeah.
through the cousins of the Transformers, shut up, and there'd be, oh man, it would get nasty, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so we know, Shudder is of course a primarily horror streaming platform of horror movies, TV shows, other things, documentaries, and they have new stuff and old stuff. For instance, they have Hell Night with Linda Blair is on here, the great slasher movie. Yeah, so there's that.
Pretty wide, actually fairly wide selection. You can find not only like older horror films, you can find films from foreign countries as well. South Korea has definitely kind of come into their own as far as horror is concerned. Japan, of course, it's been and like I said, you start getting into some of the more, shall I say, Eastern European, and that stuff gets a little dark. But
oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't know they had Eastern European. So I remember I watched that one movie with Jim Carrey, where he was Polish.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's a different thing. Dark Crimes.
What that one was called. I'm like, wow, that's dark, man.
Yeah, Dark Crimes was. I had actually first heard about it because I saw the review that Brad Jones did for it back in the day. Like 5 years ago, whenever the movie came out. But I remember his review for it, and I think him and I think his wife, then girlfriend at the time, I think went to go see that, and they were just like, he's great, but the movie not so much. It's not. It's the movie's a bit of a mess.
Oh yeah,
because. I mean, it's interesting enough. Number one, the fact that you have Jim Carrey in this kind of dark, kind of brooding, graphic, kind of murder mystery.
Yes, like Seven or something. It's doing here.
And but taking place in Poland, and he's kind of like the only one who's kind of like attempting any kind of an accent. Everybody else is just doing whatever. And
yeah. He went all in, and everybody else was like,
he did. Yeah. And he's actually pretty good in it. I like his performance in it. I just wish it was in a better film. And it kind of plays like they were like mandated to keep it to 90 minutes. So it's like you're missing things, it's kind of like that movie, The Snowman. You kind of feel like there are parts of the movie missing. Only the difference was with The Snowman is they didn't film the entire script. Which when you're doing a murder mystery, the details are kind of important. And whereas Dark Crimes feels like there are things that were cut out to keep it to a certain
length
time, like, because you'll have these characters come and go, and then they disappear for so long that you kind of forget about them. Like they have the whole situation where he has, his mother who is ill, and there's like this brief scene where he goes to visit her, and then she disappears for so long that you forget about her until he goes back and she's deceased.
Yes.
And then you have there's this kind of corrupt police captain who's involved in there. And the whole backstory with Jim Carrey's character, for anybody who hasn't seen Dark Crimes, is he was a detective, and he got wrapped up in this scandal where supposedly he I guess kind of was like an excessive force kind of situation, and he kind of took the blame for it, and he has been demoted to the mailroom basically, and there's a murder that takes place, and he's starting to connect it up to these other murders, and finds out that there's kind of this sex cult, I guess.
Yes.
It's kind of a trafficking thing, sort of. And he's linking all of this. Everybody's dirty little secret is starting to come out. And in any case, there's like this corrupt captain, that you kind of hear about, this Gregor. Gregor's not going to be happy about this, and Gregor's going to do this, Gregor's going to do that. You never see the guy until like about 70 minutes into like a 90-minute movie, and it keeps getting played like this guy's going to be a big deal, but it's almost like the movie keeps forgetting about him until you finally see him. And there's this scene where he kind of threatens Jim Carrey, stay out of my business and all this. And then the guy just disappears for the rest of the film. It's just like, okay, I guess it wasn't that big a deal, I guess. It's a very odd film that just feels like there's more to it. And, it's too bad, because it kind of feels like there was a good movie in there somewhere, and it just kind of it just doesn't happen, because the guts have been cut out of it, and you can tell.
There's that and the Snowman, but at least we're getting a Snowman TV series. Harry Hole TV series. So that should.
That was one of the funny things about the Snowman was, you're trying to take this movie seriously, and the guy's name is Harry Hole. And you're too busy kind of
cast, though.
Yeah, it did.
Rebecca Ferguson. What's his name?
J.K. Simmons is in it.
He was in it.
Toby Jones, Chloe Sevigny playing twins, but you don't find that out till later, which is kind of a weird thing. And this is again one of those movies that's like edited together by a pack of hamsters.
Yeah, and of course the lead, who was
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender, yes.
Yeah.
A very underrated actor. And
I agree.
But anyway, these are not on Shudder, though.
They aren't.
So I kind of got us off on a tangent here. But,
yeah, we did.
I have watched some cool movies on Shudder. Kids vs. Aliens. I really was a big fan of that one. Anyone in the chat watch Shudder? Curious.
Yeah, chat. I know, Connie, I know you got to be a Shudder fan.
Flappy likes cream corn. What did I say on a couple streams? Did he like cream corn or not? I think it was a no, but I don't know. I mean, who doesn't like cream corn, huh?
Well,
cream corn is what you buy by accident.
Apparently.
What?
David Lynch, apparently.
I have to find out why it exists. It must have been a preservation thing. I have no idea. But yeah, I watched Whistle recently. I watched rewatched. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. There's something on there called Dolly.
I haven't gotten to Dolly yet. I've been hearing I actually heard some decent reviews for it. Yeah.
Freaky. Mad God, I watched.
Mad God, I got in trouble over Mad God because Mad God was the first movie that I ever reviewed on YouTube.
Yes.
And that video is still up. I was doing shorts back then exclusively. And I kind of got in trouble over Mad God because I kind of came off in the video like I didn't like it. Or didn't appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I understand the work that when it was directed by Phil Tippett, and it's this kind of stop motion animation and claymation together, and the artistry of it is fantastic. It is really something to see visually. I just felt that story-wise, it ended halfway through the movie and then it repeats itself.
I feel like Mad God is the kind of movie that I would have been amazed at, like in my early 20s, like when I was a budding film buff. I would
Mhm.
have seen this thing and loved it. Now that I'm older, I don't know. Like I'm always on the fence about buying it on physical media because I'm like, on a technical level, it's a tour de force of stop motion, and I'm very
Mm,
impressed with it.
yeah,
But it's just so weird.
it is. You know, and I I'm actually glad you brought up Mad God because it is in the Shutter 10th anniversary box set.
Yeah, you bought that, and
I did.
I was tempted to. I was on the fence about getting that, but
Mhm.
I know they had the mishap with the earlier prints with Late Night with the Devil, but I already have that on Blu-ray, so I don't
Yeah,
necessarily need that. I'm
I got
curious,
that too.
was Watcher
Um,
in that set or no?
it is not.
Okay, well, I mean, I already own it, so I don't need it again. I'm just kind of
Well,
curious why they omitted
agreed.
that one because I think
Um,
that is a Shutter original, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
mhm.
But what else is in there? No Kids versus Aliens? Probably not that one either, right?
Well, I have it right here, so I'll show you. And all of these are in really, are all of these are in like release order, which I was really happy
Yeah.
with. Terrified,
Okay.
the Mortuary Collection,
Okay.
which I believe has Clancy Brown in it.
I need to watch
Um,
those. Okay.
The Dark and the Wicked.
See, a lot of these I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I need to watch them since I have a subscription again. Okay.
Corey was recommending that one to me.
Right.
Wilkie's Movies and Music. He says that's a good one. Host, which is this kind of found footage movie. It's like a little over an hour long,
That sounds interesting.
and it's kind of one of these screen life movies where they're kind of like doing a seance, and it goes wrong. Mad God,
Okay. Mad
um,
God. Okay.
VHS 94,
Okay.
Caveat, which was Darren McCarthy's first movie, who also did Oddity and Hokum, which is out right now. Skinamarink,
Skinamarink.
what was supposed to be Late Night with the Devil, but I got one of the boxes that has the role of Jenny Penn in it. But I already had Late Night with the Devil, so
You can always just switch cases or make a. You know, you have to get rid of your Late Night with the Devil case and then make up a fake cover for the Jenny Penn movie, right? And then just put, or maybe you'll just leave it as is. I don't know.
yeah.
What's the Jenny Penn movie like? Have you watched it? Is it any good?
I haven't watched it yet, and the final movie is in a violent nature. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay,
yeah, I haven't watched Jenny Penn yet. But that was again kind of one of these kind of creepy puppet movies, I guess, with John Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush. It kind of looks like something that like Stephen King or one of his kids would do, kind of a thing. That's the way it kind of came off to me in the trailers. But I haven't gotten around to actually watching all of these yet. I need to, but yeah, In a Violent Nature, I saw that in theaters because I got sort of super curious about it.
No, I mean it's fun. I wanted to see Late Night with the Devil in theaters, but it wasn't playing in my area, so oh well.
Yeah, that didn't get the release it really deserved.
Yeah, because I felt seeing it on the big screen might have done some. Well, anyway, go ahead though. Okay,
yeah, it's quite an experience on the big screen with Late Night with the Devil, and I was actually texting Sense Corner while I was watching the movie, and you get to that ending, and I'm like, did they just give the middle finger to Hollywood? Because I think they did.
Probably.
Because you have all of the the Bohemian Grove stuff in it, and realizing that this guy has literally made a deal with the devil, and has by the end of the movie literally sacrificed multiple people to kind of And it's
I'm reading that differently now that you
ooh,
mentioned that.
yeah, you know.
I thought it was just about the wife. Okay,
But
that's
I'm
very interesting.
wondering. Yeah, but when he does a certain something to a certain character, everything just stops.
Interesting.
So I figured, okay, there had to be another sacrifice.
If they were to do a sequel, I know how I do it, and maybe the directors are thinking the same thing. Because you know what you do instead?
Hmm.
Fast forward a few years, we're now in the 1980s, and have it be Afternoon with the Devil, and have it be like a Sally Jesse Raphael or a Phil Donahue type afternoon talk show. And
Hmm.
this guy has been released from the host of our David Dismalkian character. I forget his name, but the one who ran the late night show. He's been released from the mental institution. He says, "Oh, it was the devil involved," and he says, "Oh, we're going to have him on our show to talk to him," and then shenanigans happen on the afternoon show. But instead, he's the subject instead of
Oh,
being
that
the
would be
host. You
nice.
understand?
Yeah.
And I thought that could be a way they could do a sequel and maybe make fun of the 80s afternoon tacky, like the Phil Donahue style stuff, or the
Yeah.
Sally
There's
Jesse Raphael, where
Donahue's
they
and
have like,
Geraldo
or
and
Geraldo Rivera. That's another one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Base it around that, base their character on one of them, and then have it flip. But then he's the subject, and maybe they have some other people guests on the show talking about, Satanism in society, because I think the satanic stuff was still going on in the 80s too, the Satanic Panic. So
Oh, very
that
much. Yeah.
might be a way for them to do a follow up. But yeah, Late Night with the Devil fan. I think I was subscribed to Shudder still when that came on, so I watched it as soon as I could because I wanted to see it in the theaters, but I couldn't. I'm trying to think though, but there've been, and then of course you mentioned another movie in your set, in a violent nature.
Yeah, I get
Okay,
why
if you
that's
like it,
not
we
for
don't have
everybody.
to. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. Okay.
No, that's fine. I
You-
get why it's not for everybody because because it is this long sequences of this guy walking
Jason
from one place to another.
Voorhees.
Yeah, and I'm like,
It's a movie from the POV of Jason Voorhees. That's what it is. Okay.
just you stole his locket. Just give him back his locket. He'll go away. Yeah, but no.
Will he though?
Yeah.
Though, because the park rangers seem to think there was this ceremony. There's certain things you had to do because he was getting mad at them. Who was probably a survivor of a previous thing, like a previous movie or story.
That's kind of the idea. Yeah.
You have the stupid teens, and I remember watching it though. But I'm watching it, and I'm like, I know we use this term deconstruction a lot. Like, what would deconstruction a slasher movie be? And I know you think it'd be Scream, but no, I think it'd be this movie where you're just. But some people liked it. It's okay. I'm not picking on it. It was an interesting experiment, but I am picking on it because it drove me nuts. Anyway, oh, here we go.
Yes, and says, hello, hope you're all doing well. Can't hang along, but wanted to say that would be a cool idea for a sequel to Late Night. I agree. Yeah, very much.
And guys, if you're hearing me, I'm not going to come after you lawyer-wise. Just if you want to do that as an idea, go ahead. Okay, maybe they already are. Okay, because I think they were thinking about doing a sequel, so that's how I would do it. Yeah, I love David Dismalkian. He is. I used to watch the MacGyver series, the reboot, which had a lot of problems.
Yeah,
but he played the villain, the assassin Murdoch.
Murdoch, yeah.
And he was so good as Murdoch on the redo series. He was worth watching him on that show. I mean, this is an actor who could have been the Joker or many other parts. Like, I think he's like kind of like what De Niro and Al Pacino were back in their day. I think David Dismalkian is to us now, and I'm hoping he gets more parts. I don't understand it, and he stars in like Christopher Nolan movies and Denis Villeneuve movies, and he'll be in them. He's just a character actor in them though, instead of being in the lead. I think he needs to be in the lead more. But anyway, that's just me.
Sin says he's great in Murderbot. Yeah, I have not seen Murderbot yet. I've read the books, but yeah, I can see him on that show. I always wondered if I maybe misjudged the Murderbot books, because when I was reading them, I was kind of, for some reason, seeing Alan Tudyk in my mind as Murderbot, and then they go in to get like Alexander Skarsgård, and I'm like, Not that that's bad. Apparently, I hear he's quite good in the show. I'm sure he is. But I don't know. I was just I kind of liked what I felt was kind of like the snarky attitude of the Bucks. I just thought this kind of zero F's given kind of moments that Murderbot has, and he calls himself Murderbot. That tells you a lot right there. This kind of robot just come. Well, the whole idea is that if something goes wrong, he gets sent out to kind of take the first hit. Right? That's kind of the idea. And then he becomes self-aware and decides, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. And I actually like the books quite a bit. I haven't seen the show yet, but I hear they stick fairly close. So that's good enough for me.
Okay. Well, I'll look for it.
Yeah, send us a review up for this. Widow's Bay is another super fun Apple TV series like Murderbot was. The show's better in the first book, in my opinion. He's got a snarky attitude on the show too. Oh, good. Because my worry was that they would kind of lose that sense of humor that I thought was in the book. But I'm glad they seem to have kept on. So I've only listened to the book so far. I've gotten to like third or fourth, and his attitude gets worse.
Okay.
And there's actually one where he gets kidnapped by this other robot. It's just the two of them just going at each other, and it's pretty funny.
Cool.
But yeah. So both of those are on Apple TV. So Murderbot, I'm definitely planning to see, and based off of what's since been saying that too, and since the in Widow's Bay is like half-hour long episodes, and I think Murderbot is too. So they're probably quick watches, I would hope. Okay. All right. So, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this show is because both of us are a fan of a Shudder movie called Watcher.
Yes.
And this is Micah Monroe from It Follows and Longlegs, and Bern Gorman, who's this British character actor. He's been in Pacific Rim. There's actually a really good remake of And Then There Were None, where he plays Blore.
Okay.
And it's again very dark but very good. Because well, the title kind of tells you where it goes. But yeah. So it takes place in Bucharest, Romania, where Micah Monroe's character she's married, her husband gets a promotion, and apparently this promotion sends them to Romania of all places. And I'm trying to remember, was she from Romania originally or him?
Here's what it is. He is not from Romania originally, but he might have had parents that were from Romania. He speaks Romanian. He can speak Romanian. I think he has Romanian ancestry, whether that be from parents or grandparents. He can speak Romanian. She also is of Romanian descent. This was mentioned in the cab drive over. He says, "She Romanian?" He says, "Yes, but she doesn't speak the language." Basically, it's one of these things where many of us Americans can claim European heritage and descendants, but how close are we to those cultures at this point in time when so many generations go by, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of what I see this. This is a theme that pops up in a lot of Italian horror movies where you have Americans going over into Europe, and it's like, well, they are European descent, but are they still connected to Germany or Italy or any of these other places? And that's sort of what I saw in this movie. And he's going over there for business. In fact, the couple's name are Julia and Francis. All right.
Mhm.
And he's on there at business. I think he's got a good job, though it is a stressful job because I think it's in sales, but it's in like corporate style sales. Like, I don't know if it's like Mad Men or something like that, except in Bucharest. It's
Yeah.
he's going over there. He gets a nice apartment, and they get an interesting apartment. That's the main focal point of this movie is they get into the apartment after the cab drive, right? And another thing is Julia doesn't speak Romanian, so people will be speaking Romanian, but she doesn't always know what they're saying. And you in the audience, unless you speak Romanian, in fact, I'm kind of curious if someone speaks Romanian, they understand what they're saying, if the movie would have the same impact, right?
Yeah. That's one of the things that I did want to bring up and that I made note of was the fact that much of the Romanian is not subtitled.
Nope.
And it's only until she starts to pick certain words and phrases out that we start to see subtitles.
Yes.
And I thought that was very interesting because we are seeing everything literally through her point of view. And one of the things that I thought was interesting upon the rewatch was who is really doing the watching, because there are a lot of scenes where it's kind of like she's the one who's outside looking in, and
Yes.
and that she was, it could be construed that she's being just as much of a voyeur as the villain of the piece.
Well, in the beginning, her and her husband are I guess, doing stuff in front of the window that you shouldn't be doing. They should have drawn the blinds then and there. I don't know why.
Well, there weren't blinds. That was the thing. So.
Oh, they get them later, don't they? Okay,
they get them later. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this whole idea. They have this nice big windows. It's an odd apartment. It's nice looking, but at the same time, the walls are kind of thin, so she can hear a neighbor if she's having a fight or getting busy with her boyfriend or something like that. And it's awkward because it's basically, here we have an American and she's in Romania. Her husband is out at work during the day. She goes out into the city. She's taking pictures of what looks like a museum foyer, and then some guy starts yelling at her Romanian, and I'm like,
chases her off, and
I'm like, can you not take pictures in there? I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a sign up, but it's probably in Romanian. So what are you going to do? And she's trying to learn Romanian. She's listening to the tapes and stuff, right, or the CDs, and I guess MP3s, I should say, in our modern age, right? But yes. Were you uneasy from the get-go in this movie?
Yes. It is because you are told, well, number one, he has this fancy job. It's almost like this, like you said, kind of Mad Men Bucharest kind of thing. But they are in a neighborhood that maybe isn't the best. And we also have the extra added benefit of, and this is where I think the movie kind of really reminds me the most of Don't Look Now. Because in Don't Look Now, you have this serial killer kind of around the edges of the story. Whereas in Don't Look Now, you have Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie. Their daughter has died in this accident, and they're trying to kind of get past that.
Oh, yes, I have the Blu-ray of it. I've been meaning to watch it. Yes.
And then kind of around, and that's kind of the main crux of the story, is they're trying to get past, this devastating loss of their daughter. And meanwhile, around the edges of the story is this serial killer it almost becomes a giallo, where you have this serial killer kind of around the edges of the story. And Watcher is no different. kind of the same thing is happening as we are seeing this woman trying to adjust to now being in Romania and not being able to speak the language. We have this character that is referred to as the Spider, who is this serial killer who is decapitating women around Bucharest. And one of these murders has happened like a couple of blocks away from,
right, when they're out for a walk,
where
they
they've
see the
moved
ambulance there.
yes.
Yeah.
So you have that going on around the edges of the story as well. And then it really does lead, like you said, to this sense of unease. This, you could say, okay, is she just getting paranoid, or is there something really going on? Is it all in her mind? Is she being targeted by the psychopath? Which is it, And
well, we should maybe bring up, why is she so paranoid? Because when she looks out of the window, what does she see?
She sees someone looking back at her. There's
someone across the building, across the way, a almost nondescript man. I mean, almost like, well, he was a white man, average height, dark hair.
He could be anybody. Yeah.
He could be anybody in the city. It's really weird. And Mark Malakov said, he dealt with that himself. He has ancestors from Russia and Ukraine between late 1800s and 1905. I'm American. Well, son, are my ancestors. And that's how a lot of us feel. Yeah, it's like you become an American after a while, and you still honor where you came from. And it's this weird thing. Like, she's not being disrespectful to Romania. She's curious about it. She wants to learn, but it's like she's over. But plus it doesn't help the fact that the husband's at work all the time, because he's trying to impress his new boss. He's not sure how he's getting along. He made an ally at work, it seems, but like the big boss, does he like him or not? Do you understand? It's just, and meanwhile, she's stuck at home. When she looks out, she sees this guy staring back at her, and she can't even really see what he looks like. And then it becomes, is he really staring at her, or is he just looking out, right? And she does a test. Am I getting too far ahead? She does a test, right?
Right.
She's like, F this, and she decides to, during a storm, she sees him through the rain, and she raises her hand. And what does he do?
He waves back.
Yes, at first you think it's not going to happen, and then he waves back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even then, you don't know at first if he's really watching her, or is he just some guy who, like she was doing at the beginning, just looking out the window. Hey, I got a window. I want to look out of it. And it does have this rear window kind of quality to it too. Very kind of very, like I said, voyeuristic. And
well, it's modern cities, right? Like you have this nice big window. Imagine if you had a nice landscape and it's just another building with windows on the other side. I mean, it's
what you're going to do.
What can you look at, right? And it's and of course, I'm trying to think. Is this is the next day when she decides to go out and she goes to catch a movie? Is that right? Am I getting things out of order? You took the notes, so don't. If I'm getting
I was kind of going. All right. Well, I actually started from the beginning, and
we can start from the beginning again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can start when they take the initial cab ride. Was it just me? Check me on this.
Yes.
Was it just me, or is the cabbie that they talk to not the guy who drops them off?
Oh,
because he looks different to me for some reason.
I don't know, because when I was watching it again yesterday, I saw him. He was looking at himself in the mirror. You see his reflection mirror. He does that conversation with, "Do you speak Romanian?" And she's like, "Oh no, I don't." And like, "I'm Romanian, but I don't speak it." And then he says a bunch of words and then the husband looks uncomfortable or something. And then like what he say? What he say? And he says you're beautiful. No, I just think you're very beautiful, and which she is, and that's
Yeah.
probably all he said. But we don't know specifically.
Yeah.
I'll take him at his word. He seemed to have a nice look on his face, and I'd like to think he didn't say anything too disparaging, or maybe commented on her, something else about her. I don't know, but because again, it's not just the fact that you're dealing with a language barrier when you go to someplace like Romania. They're how can I put this? Their rudeness and politeness, what we might find rude here or polite here, might be different over there. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's their mannerisms, like how do you carry yourself, like there are things we do in the States where if you did them in Japan you'd get shunned. Like apparently walking and eating in Japan is considered a faux pas. Like if you're eating something while walking, whereas and it's not the only thing. It's not just about the language barrier. When you go to another country, you have to make sure that you're not social niceties, that you're somehow adapting to those as well. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that she sort of has to another thing that she kind of has to navigate around. And
this is bugging me. I'm gonna put that scene on in the background. I'm gonna see if it's the same driver now.
It came off like it looked like it was a different guy to me for some reason, and I could just be mistaken.
Is that on purpose, or is that because they didn't have the actor? We don't know, right?
We don't know. Did they like stop and get another cab? I don't know. But my
deleted scene where he gets out, just pull over. Like I didn't like what you said about what he say. Oh, it's nothing, hon. It's not. Don't you were because of course the husband is not telling her everything either, which I think is kind of rude. What are they saying? And this movie is uncomfortable.
It is. It does very much have this kind of sense of dread to it, because one thing that I wrote down, and I'm trying to figure out why I wrote it down this way, because I just wrote down a bunch of one-liners and I didn't explain myself. And one of the things that I wrote down was Cage, Madigan, and Navarrete. Okay. Number one, I was also thinking Longlegs, because the whole idea is that he's the man downstairs, right? Because he's been hiding in the basement the whole time. Sorry if I'm giving away Longlegs, but so he's in the basement. You have the scene in Weapons where Amy Madigan is hanging off of the ceiling. And then you have Indy Navarrete, who's the girl in Obsession, who it's almost like, okay, the danger is now inside the room with you. And I don't know why I wrote that down in particular. I know I must have had a reason, but that kind of came to mind with me of this sort of, it's below you, it's below you, it's above you. Now it's in the room with you. And that's kind of what this movie kind of feels like, and another thing that I wrote down was it's really a vampire story. And there are references to vampirism. It has to be because Romania. And there's like a couple of scenes where there are like these little kind of Dracula figurines that seem to be popping up.
She buys one for her husband as a housewarming present. Yes,
but I kind of see it as a vampire story, because it almost is like she is very slowly having her life sucked out of her, because she's just getting increasingly distraught and increasingly paranoid, or is she paranoid enough? And that's kind of the way that I was seeing it. It was this. It's this thing that I see every once in a while in movies that I call death by corrosion.
Okay.
Which is more like, which is like, it's not necessarily the physical, it's the fear that gets you, you know, and it's the paranoia eating away at you until you are so weakened that you give up. You know,
Really?
and there's kind of a little bit of that in this movie. And the movies that scare me the most are the movies that can pull that off. Poughkeepsie Tapes is probably the most kind of recent for me.
Ooh, yeah.
That's kind of the idea of that. The phrase itself actually comes from the remake of House on Haunted Hill, where there's a character saying there's nothing physical, it's the house itself. Death by corrosion, and that's what will kill you. You know, and I'm like, that's actually a very good, very creepy idea. And and the movies that scare me the most have that sense of dread to them, that, you know, there is no escape, and then your own mind is going to start eating away at you. And that kind of starts to happen here as well. And that's kind of why I call it a vampire story, because it kind of feels like, instead of some vampire coming in and sucking her blood, it's the dread, it's the paranoia, it's the fact that there also seemed to be something of like a class thing going on too. Am I the only one who picked up on that? Because every time she's like the guy chasing her away from the museum or whatever, or, you know, when they have that big shindig where his boss is there and everything, and she's kind of not quite fitting in there, and it is this weird sort of this idea of being kept down.
I don't know what the class thing is in Romania. I don't know how they think, what they think of Americans. I don't know what it's like over there. I know there are certain countries in Europe where if you're not considered part of their in-group, they'll look down on like an American for, you know, because of course we may be made up of several European or even other, you know, ethnicities inside us in the United States. You know, because I know off the top of my head, I know I'm English, Irish, and German, probably some other things in there too. What I'm trying to think about though with this though, is there a class thing? Is it again that, or is this on her? Is this this is what's driving me nuts here, because I'm actually trying, believe it or not, am trying to be fair to the Romanians in this movie. Are they acting out of character for their own society and how they do things? And like, I'm trying to think specifically, what have they done? That's my point.
No, I mean, they're not really doing anything. They're not really doing anything wrong. It's just that they kind of come off like they're like everybody else. You know, you got good people and you got bad people, you know, and it just turns out that, you know, the worst guy in the movie is not Romanian. You know, so there's that. You know,
I didn't think about that. What's interesting about the one scene with the boss, the boss is just a scary character because her husband's trying to impress him. And he does compliment her, but he compliments her on her beauty, nothing else. But to be fair, what else do they know about her? What is her career thing? She used to be she was an aspiring actress, but she gave that up. Like what is she doing with her life at the moment? You know, I mean, it's
you know.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You know, how long ago was that? Was she like the character in Lucifer, where she was in like one movie that everybody remembers and then nothing else after that? We don't really know because we're never told.
Failed the audition for the local community theater? I don't know. They don't say what she does. Has she been to university? I don't know. You
know, and that's part of what could lead you to think that, can we rely on, is she a reliable narrator? Because
that's what
we
I
don't
wonder in
really
the movie.
know all that much about her either. And that's why you can kind of throw her in as, and hello to Outlaw Bill. I don't want to ignore you. Good to see you, sir. Glad you're here. And so the idea is that, is this an unreliable narrator situation? Is this in her head? Is she acting to draw attention to herself? You don't really know at first.
I don't know, because obviously she's an American, and this
Mhm.
isn't even like regular Europe. This is Eastern Europe. That's a whole
Mhm.
nother can of worms. And I don't know if it's just her getting used to the surroundings. And when I look at the European, I mean, there's a slight brusqueness to them, but I don't think anything they do is mean necessarily. That's what I'm saying when they're talking to her or anything. There's the landlady who, there's that weird scene where she comes back to the apartment, and there's some guy standing in the doorway, right?
Yeah.
And then she explains, "Oh, it's the lights." And
Yeah.
the landlady doesn't speak any English. Some of the locals do, though. What was I going to mention to you, though? I did check on the cab driver scene.
Mhm.
My answer to you is I think it's a different cabbie, but I don't know, because part of the problem with the cab driver, when we're watching the scene, all we see are part of his face, the eyes, the nose, maybe a little bit of the mouth. But it does seem like the guy that comes out of the cab is younger, but it throws me off. I don't
That's
know.
the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. That made me think it was a different guy.
It could have been, but I don't know. Or maybe they're just doing that to mess with you.
Again, because it is that sense of disorientation that you do have through a lot of it. And it is, just, how there are certain places that seem to be almost deserted. The fact that they're, you go, they have the scene on the train, and there's like hardly anybody on this train, and the train cars are just seem like they're huge. I don't know, a lot of space, too much space.
I mean, on the one hand, it seems nice that there's all this space in the city.
Yeah, but like, at the same time, when they have that conversation, and it's like, okay, there's not room enough.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But
and we'll go, yeah.
Where are we though in the story? Like, have we gotten to the part where she's out and about town yet, or anything?
Okay, so she's kind of out and about, and she gets, and I kind of get mixed up at which point is which.
Well, she goes out a couple times.
She goes out a couple of times, and there's the scene where she gets thrown out of the museum, or what, chased out, really. And then she goes to the store.
No.
And right, and that's
is this after the theater? Oh no, she goes to the store to buy the figurine. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she's at the store and notices she's. And again, at that point, do we know if he's following her, or if he's just a random guy, or, again, is she being paranoid? Because you got to understand, there's also this, like we said, there's also this serial killer, and once she starts seeing the guy across the way who waves back at her when she's getting followed in the store, is this the guy?
Yep.
So that plays.
Wait a minute, you're talking about when she's in the grocery store?
Yes.
Let's rewind, because she goes to the movie theater first. She goes to see. She sees Charade is playing.
Right.
Which I think was that Alfred Hitchcock who did that. maybe
No,
not. I know.
Charade was Stanley
Carrie.
Donen, I think.
Okay,
But
I'm confusing
it's
it with another
Cary
movie.
Grant,
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confusing it with the one about the thief. Anyway, because I think Charade was also about a thief, but I think Cary Grant was in another movie about a thief that Hitchcock directed. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Okay, so she goes in to see Charade, and she sits down in the theater, and it's somewhat empty. There are a few people in the seats, and she's looking around, and she just sees some guy staring at her. It's not the guy from the window, though. He's just like, "Why are you looking at me?" You know. So she goes back to looking at the movie. And then someone comes into the theater, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And sits right behind her.
Right.
And then he kind of leans out, almost leaning toward her, and then she just freaks out and leaves the theater.
Mm-hmm.
This scene is the one scene in the movie that kind of bothered me. And I'll explain why. If it is this guy who she thinks is watching him, I think that's too forward for him. I would have preferred it if it was supposed to be that guy, which I think it was, that he would have sat he could even have sat in the row behind her, but maybe a little further off. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was too obvious for him to sit directly behind her. For some reason, this one scene of him sitting directly behind her, I think it kind of throws the movie off a little bit.
I don't think it's him.
You don't think it's him?
I don't think it's him.
It may not be. You're right.
It just looks like a bigger guy.
It may not be him. That was my other option. So if it's not him, but maybe she thinks it could be him, but then she goes into the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the guy comes in, because you're right. I don't think it could be him, because how could he have then gotten up and just acted like he was doing a normal grocery order? It seems odd. Mm-hmm. So you're probably right. The guy behind her probably wasn't him. We couldn't get a good look at him, though. That was part of the problem. She goes into the grocery store, and then the guy comes in behind her. Now, my thinking is so doesn't she almost go up to the register to buy cigarettes even though she's given them up?
Yes.
And then she's like, "No, thanks." And then the cashier kind of just shrugs it off or something. The cashier looked a little annoyed.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing I'll say about the people.
Everybody just looks kind of annoyed.
Everyone in Romania looks a little annoyed. That's what I say. Like not that they're going to have outbursts, but they always have they look a little annoyed at her sometimes. But again, it could be that she's doing stuff that in their culture is considered like these little faux pas that she's unaware of, and I don't know, because I've never been to Romania. I don't know how Romanians act. I'd love to hear a Romanian's take on this movie, actually, to see if it was accurate to Romania, or is this now being filtered through the eyes of an American, even though it's an American of Romanian descent, and how they're seeing the whole adjusting to their new surroundings. I mean, when we first moved to Florida, I came from the Northeast. I had culture shock down here, but this is still within my own country. Do you understand?
Right.
So you can get that even in the United States if you move to a different state. So anyway, so she's in the store, right? Mm-hmm. What is she doing? She's shopping, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's taking cans off the shelf.
Sort of, yeah.
And then she sees someone else is in the store, right?
Right.
And it's this actor that I think I've seen in other movies, but I can't quite put my finger on him.
Yes. And that's when we finally, for the first time in the movie, see Burn Gorman. And like we said, he's in Pacific Rim, and he's been in Dark Knight Rises. And he's one of those guys where you might not know him by name, but
you've seen his face everywhere.
You've seen him. He's one of those guys. I've seen that guy. And but this is the first time in the movie where we see him.
I don't think we get a clear look at his face, though, even in the store.
We do. We kind of see him from the side.
Okay,
again, it's still kind of oblique, but that's the first time in the movie where if you've recognized him from other stuff, you go, okay. That's him. All right.
And she is panicking. She's trying to walk away from him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, is he following her, doing his own stealthy thing while pretending to be grocery shopping, or is he just doing grocery shopping? I don't know.
No.
She panics at one point and knocks over a jar of pickles.
Mm-hmm.
And then runs into the back, right? Runs into the area where
This kind of employee backroom
the employee
area.
probably
Yeah.
leads to the
Storage
bedroom
room, yeah.
part, or storage rooms and stuff. And she's looking at him through the window. And is he almost looking at her? But maybe he's about to turn, and then she gets interrupted by an employee, and he's like, and he says something in Romanian, which I assume is, "What are you doing here?" Right?
Mhm.
And she goes, "Do you have a back door?" And he says, "Yes, that way." And she gets out the back door. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So then she gets home.
But the thing to understand there is he doesn't do anything to overtly put himself under any kind of suspicion.
No.
Again, this could just be her own, paranoia working on her.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think what happens next. She gets home, right?
Mm-hmm. And I do know that's kind of at the point where she meets the neighbor.
The neighbor.
Yeah. Who plays I can't.
She's
Elena, something like that.
Irina, I will say Irina.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll say
former ballet dancer. I think she twisted her legs when she was at ballet school in London, right?
Mhm.
That's where she learned English. She's actually the first person she befriends. She's saying, it's when I was in England trying to learn English, it was bad too. You'll get used to it. Irina, that's her name, and we learned that Irina also keeps a loaded gun in her desk drawer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that Chekhov's gun?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just saying. Okay. Keeping with the Eastern European theme, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If Russia is still considered Eastern Europe, I don't know if it is or if Russia is considered Russia, but anyway. But yeah, Chekhov's gun in the drawer. And then what is it? Yeah, she hangs out with this. We learned that Irina has an interesting day job later.
Yes. And we also come to find out that there's another character that also has a very interesting day job as well. So,
What do you mean?
Well, because he's also there.
Oh, that's
he's the
right.
cleanup guy at the.
That's
yeah.
right. He's mopping the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. Well, and this all starts because she starts following him. Now, I think, before anything starts, I think she complains to her husband, right? She goes to Francis, say, "Hey, this guy's stalking me." He says, "Well, did he?" And I'm trying to think, is he being a jerk? Maybe, but at the same time, what does she have? They decide to go. They decide to go down to the store, right, and look at the cameras, right?
Mm-hmm. And again, it's kind of inconclusive because she's saying he's looking at me, but she wasn't looking at him long enough because she gets interrupted by the employee to see if he's looking over at her or not.
Yes.
He sees the broken jar on the floor. He could just be looking around for like an employee to say, "Hey, there's something on the floor." No.
We don't know. I noticed that his movements are very slow in calculating, like he's deep in thought about something. So yeah, he is a little unnerving. I'll say this, but anything. But you can't arrest someone for being a little unnerving. And it's like, so she. What is it? Don't they talk to the police too? When do they talk to the police finally?
They do. Finally bring in the police because when Irina is not answering her door.
Oh, well, no, I thought this was before that, though. Don't they go over to his house and say, "Hey"?
No, that's okay. That's later. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the first time. Okay. So let's talk about Irina's place of work. What does she do for a living?
She is a
exotic dancer.
Yes, let's say that. And we're very surprised when we see her because this is at this point Julia's following
The
Weber, as we come to
Oh yeah, the Weber.
know
Yes,
him.
yes.
And she's following Weber. She sees that he is mopping up the place, and he does that very creepy kind of very slow Michael Myers, just little head
Kind of
turn.
reminds you of Michael Myers' face, kind of the way it's
Yeah,
very pale
and
and expressionless. Yes, it's just
and she backs up against one of the booths, and that's when you notice that Irene is in the booth. And so she has this whole conversation backstage where it's kind of Julia laying everything out for Irina, her suspicions, and
yeah. Do you know the guy
whatnot.
mopping the
Do
floor?
you know
No,
this guy?
I don't know him.
Don't really know him. Yeah.
People come in here and come and go all the time. So
Yeah.
I oh no, I just realized he's mopping the floors in that place. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Okay, anyway, but anyway, so I don't know. So Irina, I forget what she. I think she likes Julia because she feels that Julia was looking out for her or something. Like, oh,
yeah, there's a bit of a kinship there.
Which
It's
is nice.
like
Needs a friend. She needs a friend.
Yeah,
because especially in this country where her husband is gone half the time and has that kind of weird quasi. I don't want to say he has the annoyed expression, but he's like, well, I don't know. It's like.
So anyway, there's this kind of little red herring bit, or there are a couple, but there's the red herring bit of the landlady's cat, Elvis, who has gotten loose in the building and is kind of getting in and out of apartments somehow. And
yes,
and when so we have the situation where there's the knocking on the door, and Julia goes outside, and there's this guy outside of Irina's apartment, and this is the boyfriend, and she's like, we were supposed to get together. She didn't show up. I tried calling her, and she's not answering.
Before that even happens, she gets the landlady because she thinks she hears a muffled scream in Irina's apartment, right?
Yeah, and that's when they get in and they find it. Then Elvis is in there. Yeah. So
and the landlady complains to Francis, the husband, says, I don't want, she's making trouble in the building.
She's making trouble, and I don't want people who make trouble in the building, is basically what she says. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And, she found Elvis, so
I don't know what you're complaining about.
Get an award. No, thank you. You know. But anyway, it's
keep
like,
your own cat in your own damn apartment, please.
So we heard something, and we don't know what it was. It could have been Irina stubbing her toe. When they go in the apartment, nothing's there. Okay,
nothing's there.
And then, like I said, the boyfriend's there the next day, and he's knocking on the door because and we know the boyfriend can get can get angry sometimes, but he's never been physically violent. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah. So. But she keeps the gun just in case, right? Which I think is an odd thing for a relationship. And he's a passionate man. I'll say that. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Okay, maybe that's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a ruffian. He's a street guy. Obviously,
I don't know what he does.
He can handle himself.
I don't ask.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's best not that. Well, he's one of those guys where it's kind of best that we. What exactly is it that you do? You don't want to know. Okay, fair enough. And
but he doesn't have a key to the apartment. He can't get in.
No.
And
so
he said, then he says, I tried calling her, but she doesn't pick up the phone. She says, give me her number. I'll try calling her on my phone because maybe she'll pick up for me. If that's all this is, Irina's just, And then she tries calling her, and what happens? Does she hear the phone in the apartment?
I believe she does, yeah.
Yes. Funny how Irina would just leave the apartment and just leave her. And then, but then he figures, she's just not talking to anybody. But It's a little odd, don't you think?
Like, again, unsettling. Now, what I'm trying to remember, because I know she's the one who brings it up, that and she tells the boyfriend, that there's someone who's watching me from across the way, and I think he's in, the apartment that's the fourth from the right, or whatever she says, and but what I don't remember what made her bring that up. Like, maybe she was suggesting that maybe he saw something from Irina's apartment. I don't know, but anyway, she brings up the fact that to the boyfriend that I there's somebody watching me from across the way.
Yes.
So they wind up going across the way to this other apartment, and
yeah, this was before the boyfriend shows up, because basically they go over there to have a talk with him. We don't see that scene. We just see the cop and him leave, and then he says, well, and we don't even get context for what they talk to the guy. She then goes visit her. Oh, okay, go ahead. And
the cop is later, because right, because she goes over there
with the boyfriend,
and it's the old guy in the apartment.
Yeah, the boyfriend bangs on the door and yells at whoever's inside. Yeah, and I'm assuming it's and he says, "Oh, I just told him to leave you alone," which of course probably escalated. Then she goes over to knock, and it's the old guy. And we're thinking, is this the wrong apartment?
Right. But yeah, and that's when Weber shows up
in the
at her apartment with the cop.
Well, first she sees him in the elevator coming up before she.
Yeah. He does.
Or was he going up the stairs? And then he's coming up the stairs,
sees him,
and then he looks at her through the thing, and that's when he what is it? Then they have a thing with the cop showing up, and the cop just look. This needs to stop. You two.
And we find out the old guy is
his dad,
his father, yes. So she did, after all, have the right apartment. She wasn't wrong. But the point is at that point, Weber makes it look like, all of the harassment is kind of coming from her, which at this point is what it looks like.
It could be argued, because she was following him around the other day. She's going over to the apartment. The guy's banging on the door, and the cop's like, look, why don't we just chalk this up to a mutual misunderstanding? And then they have to shake hands, right? She's still creeped out by him. Says, "Tell me when they leave." Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And so they do that. And then they have the scene where they have the shindig where she's meeting the boss and all the guys that he works with, and
they're talking about how they caught the spider, right?
And that's when we find out that the spider, this serial killer, has been captured, and that it was the guy who claimed to have found the most recent victim, this plumber. So it seems like at that moment, it's kind of looking like, okay, crisis averted. The spider has been captured.
Yes.
Case closed. She's more or less patched things up with Weber. All just a misunderstanding, and then she, there's that whole thing where she kind of leaves in a huff. And
it's because she's listening to them talk, because he's speaking Romanian to the rest of them, and she thinks he says, and he might have said this was, well, she has the spider to keep her company at home, and
that was,
she gets mad, and she slams she's drinking a lot of champagne. She slams one of the glasses down on the tray and knocks another one over, and it's this little scene. Yes. Okay. Yes.
So she takes off and eventually gets to the train station, where she hears a noise and again begins to think that, okay, there's somebody else on this platform, and she looks around and she doesn't see anybody. So she gets onto the train with the enormous train cars that look, it's almost like no, I'm serious, this thing looks like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than it appears to be on the out. That's all I'm saying.
There's some weird
yeah,
I believe
and,
some kind of vagrant maybe on there. He's talking to someone who's not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you usually find on trains these days.
Yes.
And in various modes of public transportation. And she looks into the next train car over, and who does she see?
Neighbor from across the street.
Our pal Weber from across the street. And and then they have the whole, again, very creepy conversation. And
it doesn't start out that way.
It doesn't start out that way. No.
And who sits behind who? Does he sit in front of her, or does she sit in front of him?
No, he comes and sits in front.
But I think he's just saying that the train is stalled, probably an animal.
Because the train stops on the tracks,
and
he
explains how he people watches, and and he fantasizes things happen. But then one time when I'm looking down and I see you wave at me, I thought, wow, maybe this beautiful woman would actually notice me and wave back at me. He does this whole thing. And we're sort of getting in his head a little bit, and maybe he's just a sad, lonely man who has to take care of his sick father. Fine. But then he says something, but what does he say? He says, I know we shook hands, but I think what I really want is an apology. Remember when he said that? And he's holding onto a bag, and you're wondering, is there a head inside the bag or not, right? Because the way it's shaped, it may just be groceries, or it may be something else. I don't know. And then I think she finally says, I'm sorry real quick, and gets out of there. Is that what she does? Does she apologize? I'm trying to remember now.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Maybe
if she did, I don't recall. Yeah.
Or she did it hushed and she got out of there. I don't
because at that point I'm trying to figure out what is in this bag, because they keep cutting to it. Again, adding to this kind of overall sense of paranoia that is throughout this film. And it's not very long after that we have our final confrontation. Now, remind me, what made her go back inside the apartment?
Her neighbor's apartment. First, she's packing up. She hears music coming from Irina's apartment. She thinks, oh, maybe Irina is home. Do you understand? Because there's this big mystery about what's going on with Irina. Did she just get angry and leave? Is she there having a fight with her boyfriend? We don't know. She decides to go in because she hears music playing, which I want to say it's a Romanian version of a famous Hollywood song. I think, do 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 do, like that. She goes in there, and I believe that's when our friend decides to put a plastic bag over her head. Correct?
Yes.
Well, before that happens, what does she see? She walks into the room and she sees Irina, or what's left of her.
Yes, who has been killed in the same style that the spider has been doing in his victims.
And that's go ahead.
And maybe this is what you were about to say. This is, to me, bad timing on Weber's part, because if he had done this earlier, you could just blame everything on the spider and get away clean, really.
Question.
Yes.
Why do we think he isn't the spider? Because they caught a guy who had this woman whose murder clothes in his apartment. Maybe he's just a pervert. When he was cleaning her pipes, he decided to steal some undergarments and throw them in his apartment. Okay, that could have all been what that was. We don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah,
because they didn't find bloody garments. They didn't say they have found blood. or they found DNA. They said they found the woman's clothing in his apartment. He could have
You
just
know,
been he could have
is
been some weirdo, but not necessarily a killer. Do you understand?
or maybe he could have just killed that one woman and maybe not the rest. I don't know.
Or it's
It,
possible Weber is doing this for the first time and because he finally snapped. I don't know, but part of me thinks he
no.
is the spider. I think he's the spider.
Hmm.
I don't know because again the movie doesn't say. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
What we need to do is listen to the commentary track and maybe do a part 2. I don't know.
I should
but,
listen. I should listen to the commentary track. I have the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
but
because
so
okay, so Irina is unfortunately no longer with us. Weber now has Julia prisoner in Irina's
Yes.
apartment, and
he's trying to talk to her.
right, and there's this other exchange, and he's got like a knife to her throat, and he cuts her.
He has to get up, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when he gets up or he's distracted or something that he decides, okay, I better just cut her now, and he cuts her. It
Mm-hmm.
looks like a bad cut, life-threatening, perhaps. Yes, right?
Right.
It's by the jugular, right? So it's like, ooh, there comes the blood.
Yeah.
The blood comes out pretty fast, actually. So yeah, I would say
a lot of it. Yeah.
Is this because the husband is coming into the apartment or knocking on the door?
I think so. Yeah,
because he rings for his wife. He rings for his wife and hears her phone in the other apartment, right?
Right. Yes.
That's what throws him off. And then
Mm-hmm.
he sees what's his name there, right? I forget what happens next.
Well, okay.
I know he closed. I know somehow
right.
Something
So
off,
okay. The husband walks in. Francis. He walks in. He sees that she's got her stuff packed. He sees this as for what it is, that she's going to bail. And then I think he does try to call her, and and he hears the phone on the other side, because she at that point, after she's cut, she's tried to crawl away, and it appears that she is dead, and
the killer
Weber
goes
is
back.
just kind of he's kind of like I
think this is what happens. Okay, I think I'm trying to reconstruct my memory of this. What I think happens is the husband knocks on the door, nobody answers, then he leaves, and then Weber comes back into the room. I could be wrong there because I know he seems to watch her bleed out and die. Correct? Like she's crawling on the floor.
Yeah.
Trying to
so
get to the gun. Yes.
Yes. That okay. She is expired. The bad guy is won. That's what we think, and it's up to. We think at that point that Francis is the only other one left. So is he going to go over there and kill him, or is he going to find out what's going on? And are they? You don't know. There's a whole lot that's going on right now.
So Creeper walks out, zips up his thing, and Francis sees him, and he just like, what are you going to do? Oh no, there's another thing. After she bleeds out, I forgot the scene. He looks up. This is why he has to leave. He sees a little girl staring at her.
Oh yeah, he sees the little girl from across the way.
Being watched on after he just did a murder. Yes.
Yeah.
And part of you wonders, is he going to go over to that apartment to take care of the little girl next? I don't know. Because she's a witness from across the way now.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? He comes out. He zips up, and then I think Francis sees him. Correct?
He does.
Zipping up. And I don't know if he's going to talk to him, have a confrontation, and then suddenly shots ring out.
Kablam. And 2 shots go off, and Weber is down. And
is he dead? I think so.
Okay.
He's shot in some odd places, but again, Julia's probably never handled a gun before. So I know she hits him in the shoulder, but then she hits him somewhere else. So she might have gotten him in the heart or someplace critical. I think the landlady screams. Does she see what's going on? Right?
I don't remember if she's in that scene or not.
Okay. I think she is at the end, where she runs away or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But So Julia has dropped Weber, and how she's alive
It's
and
possible that
standing, I don't know.
it's possible the wound wasn't as severe as we thought. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't
She just
know.
kind
There's
of
a lot
looks
of
at her
blood.
husband, and then cut to credits. Right.
Cut the credits, and the movie is over.
What's the theme of this movie? Believe all women, as they were saying years ago. I don't know. I'm just the director. Who's the director? The director is Chloe Okuno, right?
Okuno.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am. What have we learned? Believe it or not, it's not a violent movie up until the end.
No.
Because you're just seeing things alluded to. You think it's a more violent movie than it is, but nothing actually happens to like the last 10 minutes, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like,
and this is like a 90-minute movie. It moves at a pretty good clip. It doesn't really waste any time. There are no real. I didn't think there were any scenes in it that were wasted, but there are things that you do come to question. Was Weber really the spider?
I'm leaning toward yes. Because he knows how to do it. He knows how to cut a woman's head off. I don't think that's his first outing, but maybe it was. I don't know. Like he did tell her that he was hiding in the closet with the dead body when the
he was. Yeah. Yes. Well, there. Yeah. So you have that very creepy kind of point.
If only Elvis could speak, he could have told everybody
trapped
what
in
happened.
The closet woman. Yeah. Exactly. Elvis has entered the building. But yeah, so you're kind of left at the end with who was the real watcher, because there is this voyeuristic thing through the entire movie. People
Julia,
in each other glass.
She's too pretty to be a creeper. Come on.
It's this whole eyes are to the soul thing that's throughout. Everybody's watched. There's surveillance footage. There are the glass booths that the women are in at the club.
I didn't even think about that. And they're in glass. That's a good point.
Yeah. So there is a lot of this almost this distance that is between all of the people and I think that it is that isolation that makes Weber snap, and I think it, and the fact that he takes the job that he does, I think he's trying to, in his own sort of sick way, try to reach out to. He kind of reminds me a lot of the Frenchman from the first episode of Millennium. He goes to these clubs to try to feel something, but he feels more anger, I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. But what throws me off, for as much as I like the ending, and you do have this sense of, the bad guys are dead or arrested, whether or not, Weber was the spider or not, or if he was a copycat or not, there is this sense of the good guy, or in this case, the good girl won. But I don't know. I still walk away from it a little bit uneasy. I feel like we don't have the whole picture, even by the end. But maybe that's me. I don't know. Yeah, it's a very creepy little movie, and like I said, you don't really there's not really anything violent till really the very end. Yeah. Which works too, because it allows you to, what your own mind will come up with will be more effed up than anything that you're going to see in the movie.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note,
So
I think that we've said what we had to say. But
interesting film.
check
Yeah,
out Watcher, check out Shutter, definitely. And
indeed.
we'll have to do another Shutter movie another time, maybe. That might be, we could do
We
another
should.
one like this. Yeah. We'll think of what one of that is later. Cool.
Right on. All right. Well, in any case, we do have to get everybody over to Troy Pacelli's channel because this is a block of programming after all. And, and we have to get everybody over to Troy's channel for the next episode of Doctor Who, which I think he's starting on the air right about now. All right, Boomer, what do you have coming up?
Nothing. I'll be on Sparkwood and 21 with you on Tuesday night. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I will be on Last Call, where Troy's going to talk about his latest gaming obsession, and then we're going to talk about then next Sunday Geeky Geezers, where I guess we'll talk about either the success or failure of Mandalorian and Grogu. So I guess we'll talk about that next week. All right.
Mm-hmm. As for myself, tomorrow at 3 p.m., I will be joining Outlaw Bill for a special Memorial Day edition of Action Theater, and we will be watching The Longest Day, film about the film from 1962 about the D-Day invasion. And let's see. Wednesday, we're going to have a special Action Theater episode then as well. At I believe approximately 4:30 is when we're going to be starting, and we are going to be watching In Harm's Way. And then Thursday, we are going to round out our salute to the troops with 1917.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
And of course, stay later that night for coming attractions at 11 p.m. And you'll get to find out what I'll be doing for the next week. All right. So, Boomer, thank you once again for taking the time out for joining me this evening. We definitely have some other films on Shudder that we're fans of, so we have to kind of pick one out, talk about next time.
Yeah.
For sure. And all right, so I want to thank everyone who was following along on X and on Boomer's channel. Everybody who was here in the live chat, including Connie and Bill, JPRPH1, Sins Corner was with us for a while, Enigma Severus, our resident Klingon Mark Malnikoff, Kopla, and let's see, did I miss any? And of course, Troy and Etter, who are probably on the air with Doctor Who right about now. So we're going to go ahead and do a hard out and get everybody over there. So on behalf of Boomer and myself, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And Boomer, any last words?
Close your blinds.
Definitely.
Okay.
And as I always say at the end of every broadcast, from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy, because this is how we win.